Pep Talk UK. It's time!
Everyone talk good game, but it don't really faze me. The man that ain't mad like Max, the boy that not murky like Ace B. And them guy walk the slide on the back bar, in like a baby.
Oi, oi, welcome to the Pep Talk UK Sports Podcast, the podcast that talks the major boxing and football news from around the globe, real points of view from a real panel, hashtag real talk on Pep Talk. Please subscribe to Pep Talk UK on iTunes and YouTube. Don't forget to like, share and comment. I bumped into AJ Anthony Joshua, who is saying,
what's happening, people? I'm here with the main man. It's the champ. Make sure you tune into Pep Talk UK, where it talks boxing and big up.
Brilliant. Now, I'm your host, Frankie B, and I'm joined by a sick panel today. First, I'd like to introduce from the French city of Paris, Pascal. How are ya?
Pascal dans la place, Frankie B, as always, very happy to be part of the show, you know.
You're happy, I'm still upset. Arsenal flopped me badly.
Frankie, you know Delphine as a twin sister. I haven't told you about it before, but maybe I should get her a Eurostar ticket and maybe she can console you, you know. She's very good masseuse.
But you know what? Like that might help on the low. But do you know, I've got like a couple of songs in my head from the game on Saturday. Antonio. Mate, that is in my head.
The bells of hell, you know. The bells of hell, it was terrible. Absolutely terrible, you know, but what can you do, you know, Frankie? We have to move on and we have to try to relive better days ahead, you know. But it was a very difficult defeat for us.
Do you know, I'm so upset, I'm going to hold a short moment of silence for Arsenal title collapse.
Finger out.
Okay, guys, now it's time to get it. Ooh. Pascal, you want to shout out your social media?
Of course, ladies, I've been very pleased with your sexy messages. So please follow me on Twitter and Instagram, Pascal_Desad. I repeat, Pascal_Desad. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Now in the building for the first time is a lady who is in love with boxing. She's now rolling with us. Can we welcome CeCe? How are ya?
Hi, I'm really good. Really excited to kind of be with you guys here on Pep Talk.
Yeah, you ready to get it? Ooh.
Ooh,
you say that?
Ooh. Ooh.
Oh,
not sure I can.
You sound like a real MC. You do a bit of rapping?
Do your ears want to bleed?
Just in the shower, yeah? You do it in the shower?
Yeah, where there's no windows.
Yeah, you got that kind of Lisa Mafia voice, you know, that I can hear.
You're just trying to kind of, you know, make me smile to make sure I give you a good talk.
You like them lyrics. Noise.
Very smooth.
So CeCe, you want to shout out your social media?
Yeah, well, you can find me on Instagram at CEMO_CeCe, or if you fancy exchanging a few more words with me, then you can find me on Twitter on CEMOCI.
Brilliant.
Make some conversation with me.
Excellent, CeCe. Now, finally, we had to switch up a little this week and welcome the UK old school garage legends, Nicky S and Nike. You good, brothers?
Yeah. Oi, hey.
Hold tight, inside
Pep Talk UK. What's happening, man? We're good to be here. Talk about our favourite sports. Me and Nike love football and boxing. So thanks for inviting us on, man. We're looking forward to it.
What's good with the music lately?
Nike, tell them, man. Tell them.
The roster, we appreciate being called Garage Legends, but we are also in the grime bracket as well. So we've had a few things that we've been kind of coming back last year on Brian Daly and
Okay,
got a few
GRM.
massive projects coming soon. Yeah, we got a few massive projects dropping the next month or two on GRM and SBTV. Like for all our fans that used to follow us on the Channel U AKA days, we've got some kind of like follow-up projects that are featuring a lot of big artists. So yes, but we've been busy in studio, but you'll see us more present and active soon. So we've got a lot of videos dropping very soon.
Cool. It sounds like you guys have got some fire ready for us.
Yeah, we're back. We're back. It's hungry.
Yeah, we're on it hard, man.
Yeah, like Kel Brooks says, you're back, baby.
Yeah.
So you
I love
guys,
his accent, you know, he's the best.
back, baby. Now, guys, like you're our first music artist on the show.
Yeah.
Can we get some bars? That's what I need. I need a hot 16 or two.
Nicky gave me 24 hours to write bars.
Yeah,
Well, Frankie
didn't tell me, man, so I ain't got nothing. I would have done it in 5 minutes, man.
Yeah. That's. I saved him. Now he's just sunk me. I like that. He threw me in front of the bus. Am I straight up, Frankie? Am I straight in there like swimwear?
Man, you're straight in there. You're ready to get it all.
Alright, let's.
You gotta do one take, bro. One take,
you know. Alright, acapella. I'm loud and clear, yeah?
We ready, champ.
Alright. This is Pep Talk UK. They're packing a punch, so you better rep what you say. Cause talk is cheap unless you back it up. Me and Nicky had to come back to smack it up. 12 rounds of Pep Talk, you'll be cracking up. These other podcasters need to pack it up. It's not a question of can they or can't they. Don't know, they run the show like Conte and Kante. It's all opinions. But who dares wins? If you ain't heard the podcast, where have you been? Pascal and Frankie, doing it for the sports fans. They invited me and Nicky on. We said, of course, fam.
Wow. Is that you going on? Hey.
That was good, you know.
Oh, yeah, that's serious. That's our first freestyle.
2 hours ago.
Wow.
2 hours ago.
The only thing is,
I think
the only thing I'll critique Nike is the Conte and Kante thing. I didn't really like them bars, you know. I want you to say like the Xhaka and the Giroud bit instead. You know what I mean?
It was a play on words though, canny or canty, Conte and Canty. Like it was a bit clever there, you know. So
I will send you a French gift, and you will be wrapped up in in very sexy lace. You know, I think that was very good.
Direct from Moulin Rouge.
Yeah. I've got very good connections there. I've got very good connections there for you, you know, so leave it to me.
That's Olivier Giroud's side, man, you know? You want to shout out your social media?
Yes, you can catch us on Instagram and Twitter, Nicky_S_Nike. That's NIKKI_S_NYKE. Big up.
Real guys, noise. Now we're going to kick it off. Ladies and gents. Attention please for the fight fans locked in. Attention please for the football fans locked in. Now it's time for some real talk on Pep Talk. Let's go. So we're going to start with the boxing. Well, to kick it off, we have a new IBO super middleweight champion of the world. He's got a new swagger, Chris Eubank Jr. He stopped the Aussie Reynold Quinlan in the 10th round at the London Olympia. Pascal and the new Chris Eubank Jr.
Le nouveau.
So he can kind of walk into that negotiating office like Vince McMahon now and call the shots.
Well, he's trying to call, your friends from North Wheezy, James DeGale, his father so certainly has been calling him out. And, but, all credit to Chris Eubank Jr., and to Chris Eubank Sr., they've broken a record to be the first father and son to hold world titles. So congratulations to the Eubank family. We have to be very pleased with that kind of achievement. So I'm very pleased for them. I actually always liked Chris Eubank. I thought he was very good entertainer, very good fighter. And to have a son like his, to carry on the legacy must be extraordinary. But you know, I mean, Quinlan, you know, we all very much knew that he was going to win the fight. You know, no one believed that Chris Eubank would lose it, but he still takes quite a lot of skill and hard work to win.
It was a case for Quinlan of good day, mate. It was a case of that, mate.
You know, he seems like a very nice guy. He seems like a very nice guy. He's just very unlucky, you know, to not have, you know, performed very well. But he gave Eubank a, you know, very good fight. He's durable. You know, the Foster's seems to be working well in Australia. And but it wasn't too much. It was too much for him, you know. He lost. And but credit to Quinlan to coming to England, and we hope to see him again.
Yeah, Pascal, I'm not going to lie. I saw Chris Eubank Jr. with the belt on Instagram. That belt's looking nice.
Is it very shiny?
It's sparkling, mate. You know, he's got that old shoe shine on the belt, mate.
Super. Very happy for this.
Congrats. Now, CeCe, you were actually there. Tell us a little bit about the performance of Chris Eubank Jr.
Well, I mean, firstly, I have to say, Chris Eubank Jr. demonstrates the blood ties that make sons follow fathers into the ring. So I think, you know, I have to congratulate Chris Eubank on being determined and proving to his dad that this is the right route for him, and long may he continue. So, I mean, it was a very sad end for Quinlan, but I have to say, I mean, when, you know, round after round, each round you could hear the crowd saying, this is it, this is the round, he's going to get knocked out. But he kept on coming back. I mean, I heard a variety of people all behind me all saying, wow, this guy is hard as nails. He just didn't stop, he didn't give in, and I honestly feel the referee didn't intervene. He would have happily taken another 2 rounds of Chris Eubank using his whip left hook on his chin, because he was just, you know what, at the end of the day, I feel like Eubank was far too quick for Quinlan's defences.
Of course, yeah. Quinlan was a little bit flat-footed. He seemed kind of overawed by Eubank's speed and skill, but overall he's a tough competitor. We must say that. We have to give him a big up. CeCe, big up Quinlan.
Absolutely. You know what, Quinlan, massive respect to you, and I will say that a lot of people from the UK have all said how much they want to see him fight again. So if he can go away, take what he's learned from this fight and come back. The whole of Olympia was silent. They were so silent because they were so respectful of him. He did well. We were, you know what, we'd be happy to see him again.
I heard he shouted out, Adrian! Is that true?
I didn't hear that, but I think that's because I was in the company of Shaz, so he was probably screaming with delight, and I probably didn't hear that bit.
Oh man, I'm just playing with you. Now, Nicky S, my man. Now they're talking about a unification with James Junkie the Girl. Now that would be great. Now, if that happens, I mean, how exciting will that be? Chunky versus Chris Eubank Jr.
There will be big hype on that fight, man. Big hype. But you know what though? I would say both of their last performances didn't show how good they both were, you know. Like after the Badou Jack fight, I would say I would favour Eubank 100%.
Wow.
But after Saturday, I'm not so sure now. I think it is actually a 50-50 fight. But I would love to see that fight, to be honest. That's a fight I would look forward to, and that would be so hype. But James DeGale doesn't seem like he's really interested in Eubank Jr., to be honest. That's what it comes across as so far. He's had a few interviews and he said he's no good for him. Eubank. He's saying he don't want nothing to. Yeah.
He wants Graves or Callum Smith. Yeah. Because Eubank Jr. is still on the come up. I know he's got a world title now, but it's a relatively new formed world title. So he's probably saying, look, if you want a shot, you know, you got to build yourself a bit more first. Yeah,
that's what he's saying. Yeah, he's not on his radar, is he, at the minute?
And it's all about the peace.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, that, to be honest, man, that's the biggest fight. Probably the Gale Groves is probably the biggest because of the what's it called? The bad blood between them and the two fights they've had before. But Eubank, the Gale would be the biggest fight for, like, quality-wise, I reckon. You know what I mean? That would be so hype, man. I would definitely pay for that. That's pay-per-view, 100%. ITV or Sky, sign me up, man.
No, that's, you know what I mean? And that's not a streaming thing. That's a pay-per-view
Yeah,
team
that,
for
that
real.
that one you pay for. That one no stream, bruv. You can't be streaming that on your iPhone. You know what I mean? So that's one I would pay for, man. 100%. Well, who do you lot reckon out of them two?
Mate, it's close, you know. It's close because they're
you got no sitting on the fence right now. If that was their next fight, who do you reckon?
Pascal, I'll let you answer this one, mate.
You've got to sit on the fence.
Well, do you remember that song Frankie B? You make me listen to it. You know, where do we come from? Northwest. I will be going with James De Gale. You know, I think James De Gale has got the more experience. He has more
skills pay the bills,
and the skills, of course. You know, and I think that James De Gale is perhaps a bit stronger than Chris Eubank. So to me, it goes to James De Gale. You know.
Yes.
North Wheezy's James De Gale.
Nike. What's CeCe saying?
You know what?
She's sitting quiet there.
I'm listening to what you're all saying. I'm going with De Gale. He's got experience, power, and prestige. He's got every reason to own that fight.
Okay, that's what's
Nike,
up.
what you saying?
Nike?
I didn't watch the fight the weekend gone, but I did watch the Jack De Gale fight.
Mm-hmm.
And although I called it a draw before they called it out, I think, you know, we all know how De Gale looked at the end of that fight. Like, at the end of the fight in the round and after the fight with his teeth missing, right? And it doesn't paint a true picture of how the fight was, but we all know that physically Badou Jack was way bigger and stronger than De Gale. That was obvious, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's very easy for everyone to say De Gale's the more, seasoned pro, which he is. He learnt a lot after the Groves loss, and he's done well on the road in America and Canada. But if Eubank Jr. comes in big, I think bigger fighters can hurt De Gale. And I know he had the new conditioning and he was in Miami for winter training and whatnot, but he started the fight amazing. He got the lucky knockdown. Let's call it as it is. It was a knockdown, but it was a lucky one because it was a sneaky jab. I know you've got to throw it, but it was lucky. The first 4 rounds, De Gale was the winner, and the last 2 rounds, De Gale come back well, bar the last 30 seconds when he nearly got knocked out. So he's still got a massive stamina issue in the middle of fights, and he's not getting any younger. So either he can take the punishment off the bigger boys and maybe lose a few more teeth, all jokes aside, but if he tries to stand in front of Eubanks like he did with Jack in the middle rounds, he could easily get knocked out. So either he works on his fitness more and he sticks to his proper technical game plan and he wins on points, or you never know. I mean, the fact that his last fight was...
We want the answer. Give us the answer.
No, but do you know why you can't answer easy? Because De Gale's just come off of a draw, right? With a knockdown each. It's easy to judge a sports person or a team after a win or a loss. After a draw, especially with a fight as close as his last one, my head would say De Gale. My heart would say Eubank.
Ooh. Okay, well, you know what? Everyone's entitled
because
to...
Eubank's got the puncher's chance, you know? He's got the puncher's chance, because De Gale's not a big puncher. Let's be honest, he's not.
Well, what's Frankie saying, man?
Well, look, I'm biased, man. I've got to co-sign James Chunky De Gale with him the same end, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And for me, he's got the most... He's got the most experience. For me, he's a flashy operator. Yeah,
100%.
Orthodox, you name it, the guy can do this thing, man.
Yeah, he can.
So for me, I think he edges it over Eubank Jr. He's a slightly more inexperienced, and you know what you got to remember is he's just moved up in weight. So he needs to get used to the weight, you know, to take on a seasoned champion like James De Gale.
Yeah.
Lastly, I'd like to say I would hope that I would actually want De Gale to win. If it was like, who do I want to win, but you asked me who I thought would win, I would want, for those two, because of the way De Gale's grown up a lot, and we're talking about being mature, and there are comparisons to be made of Eubank's attitude now as to when De Gale was young and flashy. But De Gale right now as a person, I would want him to win because, as CeCe said, his prestige, etc. I think Eubank Jr., although he's got to prove he can step out of his dad's shadow, he's also had a massive helping hand with his dad being who he is. I know it's a double-edged sword when you've got a legend as a father in a sporting world, but needless to say, he's had all the best opportunities given to him. And he's thrown some away, i.e. the supposed fight that was on the table with GGG.
Triple G.
You know, so...
But I've got another, but Nike, I've got a question, you know. I mean, let's remember that, Chris Eubank Jr. lost against Billy Joe Saunders. So I was saying that this Chris Eubank Jr. that just won last week is a better fighter now than he was against Billy Joe.
Yes. And what's the similarities, man? Like gents and like, ladies and gents, what's the similarities? Like Billy Joe and DeGale, they're brilliant movers. Yeah. That's the similarities. So they might say Eubank Jr. might struggle with that, but on the other hand, I took a picture of Eubank Jr. in Brixton at AGS. So you know what, I got to co-sign him. Still a good fighter. No disrespect, but guys, we need to move on. We're going to talk about David Price now. Wow, what can I say? He was stopped. He was stopped in the 7th round by Hammer. No, not MC Hammer. We're talking about the WBO European Heavyweight Champion Christian Hammer. Now, Pascal, shocked to say the least, mate. Big shock.
Mon Dieu. Oh. It's it's very disappointing. But Frankie B, I realized something, earlier this morning when I was reviewing, the agenda for the podcast, and I was telling myself, what is the biggest problem that David Price is experiencing? And you know what, Frankie B, the biggest opponent in David Price's life is David Price himself. David Price is, in my opinion, is suffering from a bit of lack of confidence. And the difficulty that David Price has experienced by being knocked out before, as is causing him to struggle in fights, and certainly that fight on Saturday was another, another episode of David Price finding the pressure a bit too difficult. He's a very, very strong man. He dropped the hammer. The MC Hammer did drop on the floor, but even after that, he expended quite a lot of energy, and I think the energy was to do with the fact that he was a bit tense. He was a bit nervous.
And he came in a bit heavy as well.
He came in a bit heavy also, and for a man like David Price, for a very large man, you got to give credit to Tyson Fury, because Tyson Fury, very, very tall, very, very lanky individual, but he's a very good boxer.
Yes.
And David Price has got unfortunately for David Price, he has that comparison because of the size, but also David Price struggles to use his body, to his advantage.
So what are you saying, Pascal? You saying there's only one Tyson Fury?
Of course. Of course. And after that fight, my esteem for Tyson Fury has grown even more, because Tyson Fury fought MC Hammer and he beat MC Hammer. Of course, he dropped it, and David Price wasn't able to finish the show. So I'm very sad for David Price, because I think his biggest opponent is himself. I think he can come back from it, but mentally we have to see how well and how strong David Price is, because that's the biggest fight. Before you enter the ring, the fight starts in your head, and a lot of boxers will tend to tell you that. So yes, it's a very sad episode again for Mr. David Price.
Now, CeCe.
Yeah,
this was very upsetting.
Yeah, I mean, let's bear in mind, before stoppage losses to his name, winning an Olympic bronze medal and claiming British heavyweight title glory, for me, just means David Price can at least look back on his career with satisfaction, no matter where the big man's future lies. The stoppage was devastating. You could see it in the faces of his corner. They all came out looking really doom and gloom, and it shocked everyone. But I have to congratulate our Romanian boy. He was amazing, because
MC Hammer.
Actually, MC Hammer. Basically, I would say around the 5th round is when it turned around for him, because he stepped back into his corner and they had some harsh words with him. I couldn't quite overhear what they were saying, but he came out like a monster and he owned those last 2 rounds, and it was a tough challenge for Price. He fought valiantly against him, and it just didn't work in his favour. It definitely sad news, but you know, he can consistently dream big. I think there's still hope for him. I think the confidence issue is definitely something he needs to overcome. You know, this is why I love boxing so much. It's not just a physical challenge. It's a mental challenge. It's the journey you go through when you step in that ring, everything you prepare for. It's the lead up to it. And somewhere along the way, I don't know whether he lost confidence from his previous losses. It's not the way we wanted to see our pricey boy go out. But, you know, let's see if there'll be a comeback. Let him go away, process what's happened, and just take it from there. But amazing congratulations to Christian Hammer. He was brilliant, and the crowd was amazing. Like, again, the crowd gave him a massive amount of respect. They were so happy, really happy. So, yeah, it was good to see what comes of him next.
So here comes the hammer. Now, Nikki S., where do you think David Price goes from here? You know, like CeCe was saying, he's suffered a few losses now.
I don't want to be too harsh on him, man, but he might have to do a plumbing course. But what I will say, yeah, them two, CeCe and Pascal, they've hit the nail on the head. That guy's got definite mental issues to do with fighting, man. There's something not right in like the confidence is a massive thing for David Price, man. Massive. Because I remember when Price was coming up, they were saying he's going to be the one from England that's going to take over.
Yeah,
everyone was saying that. And I remember seeing an interview with Adam Booth years ago. He said David Price hits the hardest out of anyone he's ever seen in his whole life. But for Adam Booth to say that, man, you've got to think how strong his punch is. But the thing is as well, his fitness is no good, man. It's not. It's like you saw him. He was blowing after a few rounds, man. It's like I don't know, man. I feel sorry for him because he's a lovely fella, that David Price, and it's hard not to like him. You know what I mean? But it's lucky. I tell you what, though, it's lucky that he didn't face AJ because you know that was talk of him fighting AJ in at December. That December card. It's good he didn't fight him then because it would have been devastating, man. It would have been no good, and everyone would have been cussing, saying AJ, he's got no reason to be in the ring with AJ. So at least he didn't fight AJ because that's what Eddie Hearn said. He said Price has got to fight someone decent, and then he can come to AJ. But Hammer was okay, but you see what Tyson Fury done to Hammer. So there's levels, and Tyson Fury is on a different level to what David Price is. But fair play to Price. He's had a decent career. He's probably got a good little amount of money. And his trainer the other day, that David Caldwell, said he can't wait to get back to his family. So that tells us that he loves his family, and probably boxing is just not for him no more. But good luck to him, man. Good luck.
And David Price, we wish you a very soon return to the ring. Now, CeCe, we're going to talk about a young fighter that we know well, and that's Too Slick, Chris Too Slick Congo. Devastating first round TKO. Brilliant display, CeCe.
I mean, can we just say, what a way to debut your first fight on ITV Sports. You know, no wonder he's called Chris Too Slick. A first round stoppage by technical knockout. I mean, he definitely is one to watch, and you know, he wasn't part of the GB team for nothing. He's very professional. He's from deep South Bermondsey. He's what we need. So you know what I found about the whole of Saturday? It's like British boxing is in its element. It was just a great night for British boxing, and he is definitely the reason why it is. So I've got high hopes for this young man, sorry.
Too slick, great display. Right, so the Kid Galahad versus Joseph Akbeko fight didn't happen, and Pep Talk boy Shaz received an exclusive message from Akbeko amid talk of him wanting more money before the fight. It read, No, brother, I did not fight because of the money. I love boxing and I love to enjoy being in the ring. I couldn't fight because I had food poisoning, and Mr. X was supposed to give me an immediate treatment so I could be well before the fight, but he didn't care about my health, but he only cares about money he's going to make after the fight. The power of Twitter DMs. Brilliant. Now it's interview time. Our boxing correspondent Shaz, ahead of this weekend's Dove Box promotions card at York Hall entitled Knights of Thunder, spoke to the following boxers who will feature on the night. First, it's time to hear from the light heavyweight Spiros Demetriou, who will fight a Colin Farrakhan.
Pep Talk UK are joined by a light heavyweight hailing out of Edmonton. Team SD, Spiros Demetriou, how you doing?
Alright, no, I'm not bad. Yourself?
I'm always well. Now, you've got a fight coming up on the 11th of Feb, Dove Box. What are you going to do to the fella? Because you're already 6-0.
Well, I'm going to stop him, definitely before 8. And I'm going to take the title with me as well.
Now, you mentioned the words title. You're fighting for an international challenger belt, is that right?
Yeah.
And where's that belt going to be on the 12th of Feb?
I wouldn't say on my waist, but I prefer it on my shoulder.
Love it, love it, love it. Now, by way of a background, people that want to follow you, you're quite active. I've seen your Twitter handle, I've seen your social media handle. If you tell the listeners where they can follow you.
Find me on Instagram under Boxer SD. You can find me on Facebook if you just search my full name, or you can go on my website www.boxersd.com.
And you're also on Snapchat.
I'm on Snapchat as well. Everything's linked to my website.
Lovely. Well, we're going to be watching you fight on the 11th of Feb. We wish you the best. Go bring home that belt.
Thanks, I'll bring it home.
Now let's hear from another boxer who will feature on the bill, heavyweight Tom Little, who will fight Tom Dallas.
Pep Talk UK are joined by a man I know well. He's the main event, Mr. Tom Not So Little.
How are we?
I'm good, how you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you. Good, working hard, you know. Got a massive fight ahead of me, but for personal reasons. A few big fights afterwards as well, looming about. So, yeah, big times, big times.
You're fighting Dallas. Where's your opponent today at the presser?
He's, I think he's forced himself down a rabbit hole somewhere in Kent. He won't leave. And listen, when it's 2 weeks away from a fight and you can't, it's a professional sport. You have obligations. When you know you can't look a man in the eye 2 weeks away from a fight, that's when you know. Listen, he's a bottle job. And that is it. I know he ain't got no heart, and that's going to make it even more sweeter because I ain't going to knock him out. I'm going to make him quit. And that is what I want to do. I want to make him quit. I want to beat him up, bust him up, and make him quit. And it's just going to make it that much easier because I know his heart ain't there.
Now, you're the main event for this fight. I was fortunate enough to watch you at your last fight. I was there for the weigh-in, I was there for the presser when you fought Dominic Akinlade. And to be honest, Tom, it's the best condition I've seen you in. You were unlucky not to get the result that night. You fought well, you showed a lot of heart. Yeah. If Fat Tom turns up, Mr. Dallas is going to have problems.
Oh, listen, I've learned so much from that fight. Like, I'm doing so many different things. Like, I've got the positives from that fight, and I've built on it. Like, so I've got the benefit of that hard camp that I've had taken into this camp. I've not had the over amount of time off. Like I put out that I was retiring. I was training all the time. I had things in my mind what I wanted to do. Like, I act silly, but I'm not silly, if you know what I mean. This here is going to be a defining performance for me, and this is going to make people stand up and take notice. Mine and Dominic's fight, that was a very good fight for two heavyweight men. The work rate that me and him set, that we both has put on a very good performance of what we do. But now I'm sitting on my shots more. I'm making myself more stubborn in there. I'm not giving that ground. That ground ain't getting given now. I realise what I done wrong that night. Not taking anything away from Dominic. Dominic's my brother. I think a lot of him. That was a hard night for me to fight my friend. Do you know what I mean? And it was a hard night for him. I know it was. But I was just happy that everyone was happy with the fight that we had. There's 1 or 2 points in it. that tells you what it was.
Someone has to win, someone has to lose, and to be honest, you were the away fighter. He was fighting at home at York Hall. He had his crew there, but I'll be honest, you won over a lot of fans that night.
Oh, thank you.
And I remember coming up to you straight after that fight, gave you a touch and went, do you know what, you've not let yourself down, you made yourself proud, because someone has to win a fight, someone has to lose it. And the heart you showed that night, I'm just glad that I've got a feeling you're going to be wearing a shiny little belt around your waist.
Oh, yeah,
or shiny little belt around a big waist, because you're a big lad.
Yeah, do you know what, we're coming for some big titles. Do you know what, that, like you said, that'll be a winner, that'll be a loser. It was a hard fought fight. On the night, I'm a man. I do feel Dominic done just enough for what it was. But it was, what people didn't realise is I went from 4 rounds to 10 rounds. So after the 4th round I was in uncharted water, hence why I was leaving myself in certain places, nicking rest, wondering how much I need to take. I ain't got that now. I know what I can do.
Yeah, you've done a 10 rounder, you've had it in the bank, and you've had a good fight against Dominic Akinlade. It was a testing fight all the way through.
I'll tell you something, he is an underrated heavyweight. People look past Dominic and they will say, I don't know why, right? Because that man, the thing is with heavyweight boxing in Britain, we've got such high standards in Britain for heavyweight boxing. Our top domestic fighters are world level. That's just
of course, and
Dominic is a very, very good fighter. What he does very well. Do you know what I mean? So, I never had it ain't like I went out and I got beat by a sausage. It ain't like I went out and I fought a good man, a champion. Listen, I fought a champion on that night, and I come up a little bit short, but I'm back, I'm stronger, I feel better. Hopefully down the road, me and him will have another little dust up, and that's it, listen, but down the road.
Let's keep our eyes on the prize. I've got a feeling that you're going to have a nice little belt around your waist, and we at Pep Talk UK wish you the best of luck come fighting night.
Thank you very much for your support.
Lovely, brother, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Finally, Shaz spoke with the Southern Area Heavyweight Champion Dominic Akinlade, who will fight Josh Sandlin.
Pep Talk UK are joined by a friend of the show, Mr. Dominic Akinlade. How you doing, Top Gun?
I'm very, very well, my friend. We just finished another interview, another press conference, and we're getting ready for another fight.
Now, you got a fight on the 11th of Feb, which we're just going to gloss over.
Yeah.
Wish you the best of luck for that. What's next right after that?
Oh, that's the big one against Mr. Nathan Gorham, Ricky Hatton's little protege. That should be either on April or April the 8th. We're not quite sure. As far as we know, Tommy Dove's got it all lined up, so, but if it could be interest by Warren's people, I'm not quite sure of that. But as far as I know, Tommy Dove on April 1st. So yeah, that's for the English heavyweight title. Possible eliminator for the British.
Well, you keep training hard. Give Noel a big beer hug for me, a couple of punches as well.
Good.
We're always following your career. We wish you the best of luck come February the 11th, and then we're going to follow it up with an interview come the big one.
Definitely, thank you very much. And also I want to shout out to JFB Sports for sponsoring me, getting behind me. I really appreciate them boots. I love those boots. So yeah, thank you very, very much for that. I appreciate it.
Lovely. Cheers for that, Big Dom. Take care. Top Gun. Cheers,
you,
buddy.
man.
Thank you.
All good.
Thank you, Shaz. Nice. Okay, now it's football time. We're going to talk about the Premiership. We're going to talk about the footy. You ready, lads?
Yeah.
Let's go. So, the biggest game of last weekend was Chelsea versus Arsenal at the Bridge. The Blues came out on top in a 3-1 dominant display. Now, Nike, good win for Chelsea. You guys are cruising now to the title.
What do you want me to say about this, first of all? Do you want me to talk about the game? Do you want me to talk about the context? Do you want me to talk about Arsene Wenger? Or do you want me to talk about Chelsea?
Just don't sing Antonio. Just don't sing that.
No, what was the other thing the Chelsea fans were singing? Arsene Wenger,
we want you to stay.
We want you to stay.
Arsene Wenger, we want
you to stay.
Oh man, that's hurtful.
See, Nicky S always does the hooks. Nicky always does the hooks, man.
I'll take that hook, man. I was in the stadium singing it.
Oh man. It's hurtful.
Pascal, correct me if I'm wrong. You're a Gooner as well, yeah?
Bien sûr, oui. Very proud.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, but let me say 3 things. One, I think we can all agree, regardless of how many points Chelsea were ahead at the beginning of the match, that Chelsea looked like they were in cruise control the whole game.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah?
They were decent, man. They were decent, you know.
No, but that's because of the structure, the organisation, and the basic confidence of what we do compared to Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
And bearing in mind, Conte has been there he arrived in August. Remember, this is a manager who was managing Italy at the Euros. This isn't a manager that arrived like most managers do in May or June.
But
he arrived in August.
But you know what, Nike? You know Coquelin, he needs to work shoulders at the gym, because the way Hazard shrugged him off, that was unreal, bro.
Listen, he made it look like a Maradona goal. I don't know.
He should have took him out, man. 2 foot.
He should have. But the thing is, forget that. Can I say, as a Chelsea fan, and you're going to think I'm joking, but I want Pascal to respond to this. I'm being serious, right? Because I watched your two's response with 100% Chelsea after the game, yeah?
Oh, okay.
Now, I'm going to put this to you. You know when you've got a nemesis or a rival or an enemy, like in the school playground, or whether it could be a once a month poker match that you meet up with, or whether it's a rival of a London football team. Since you lot have lost your cutting edge, and I'll put a distinctive date on that, when Patrick Vieira scored the goal that won you the other FA Cup, right? So that was what, 2005, I think. 7? Yeah. 5?
Yeah, I think it's 2005. Okay.
So let's say for the last decade, with an exception here and there, as a Chelsea fan, because as soon as Abramovich turned up, we basically upset you, right? But I can't even enjoy these victories over Arsenal anymore. Because no, I'm being serious. If the 4-0 win over Manchester United, I could enjoy it. Not just because it was Jose, because it was Man United. We've beaten you comprehensively. You've lost to us more than anyone else in the Premier League. You know that, right? Statistically. Yeah? In the Premier League era, how many years Premier League now? 21 years? How many years is it?
Yes, you're right. We had 21 years. Yeah.
So, you've lost more times to Chelsea than any other team, and we all know that has been more so since percentage-wise since Abramovich has turned up, and Jose more specifically. Quite honestly, I can't even revel in the victory, because if we beat you, Nicky S will turn around and say, yeah, but Arsenal can't handle Chelsea, they're crap anyway, they're pretenders. If we lose to you, Arsenal have come, how can Chelsea lose? Are they wobbling? How can they beat Arsenal? Because everybody is basically like we're the 11th grader and you lot are the 7th graders. And if we don't give you a slap in the playground, it's a big shock. So it almost takes the gloss off the victory, and to be quite frank, that pees me off. Because it's like I'm fighting a child with one hand tied behind their back. So until you lot become competitive again, I can't even really savour the victories. And I'm not being sarcastic or patronising. I'm being completely... It's almost as though it's not a fair fight. Everybody knows it now. Except Wenger.
For me, when Arsenal lost the competitive edge against Chelsea, I don't know if you remember, but it was a Champions League game when Bridge scored the winning goal. That was it. For me, that was a watershed moment. That was the
watershed.
That was
a watershed moment, thanks to Mr. Ranieri. It was his parting gift for Chelsea.
Of course. And after that point, we found it very difficult to beat Chelsea. It's been very...
So, yeah, I mean, Pascal and Frankie, look, Nick S knows I've been a Chelsea fan from the Dennis Wise days and Gianfranco Zola days, so I'm not a glory hunter.
Before they bought the league.
Before they bought it,
Well, there's been many teams that have bought leagues and Champions League. So let's talk about China if we're going to talk about buying things. But anyway,
he was there before all the money. So
I had the yellow cause kit. But
okay.
But guys, do you not think that Chelsea's dominance? Forget that you beat us. I mean, it's quite ironic that it was the defeat to Arsenal in the first half that convinced Conte to go to his preferred 3 at the back system.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite ironic that I mean, football's very ironic a lot of the time. The only thing that isn't ironic is that we embarrassed you once again at the bridge. You know, and it's almost getting a bit... I know you lot are Arsenal fans, but I'd be saying this if you were Man United or City fans or Spurs fans, but I'll be honest, it's a bit boring now. Like, you know, like, if a boxer was to keep beating up the same boxer because he can't get any other fights, I want you to have a new manager, dust yourself off.
Yeah, the thing is though, man, how can Arsenal let this happen to them all the time at Chelsea?
Because Arsene Wenger controls the club. He controls the club. My friend calls it Gaddafi.
I've got an interesting theory. I think that every year Arsene Wenger knows that there are some games he's going to lose. And some of the games that he knows he's not going to win. For instance, that's the games against Chelsea, the games against Manchester United, maybe one or two games against Liverpool or Manchester City. But there are games every year which Wenger knows he's not going to win.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think Mourinho and Alex Ferguson think like that?
Never, of course not. Bien sûr que
exactly.
non.
That's why Wenger can't win the league, because that probably is what you're saying is the reason why they lose the games. He's not installing any grit or any fight in these players, man.
Do you know, Frankie, as well? Do you know what is really annoying about this whole conversation? You asked me about Chelsea's performance, and we're talking about Arsenal's lack of performance. That is my point. I am peed off because we can't praise Chelsea because we're assuming Arsenal were that bad. But Chelsea are... Listen, I've witnessed the Mourinho Mark 1 and 2, the Ancelotti Chelsea, and the Champions League autopilot Chelsea. This Antonio Conte Chelsea is, whether it's the most skilled or not, I can't say, but it is definitely the most well-tuned Chelsea. 100%. I didn't think you could get better than Makelele. I didn't think you could. But it seems like it's and Pascal, as your compatriots,
of course.
Claude was very late on the scene to be appreciated by the French team, so he never really won any of the big trophies with France, right?
I agree.
It was very unlucky for him. He only came in when you guys had a really embarrassing exit at the defence of your World Cup, right?
Yes.
And he had a brilliant playing career, and obviously Real Madrid didn't win the league for about 6 years after he left because nobody could work out what happened. Obviously we're seeing the same at Leicester now, because the joke was that Kante played left and right of Drinkwater, right? So Leicester were playing with 12 players. But do you think that N'Golo Kante can have a more successful international career than his predecessor Makelele at this point, looking at his career?
It's very, very possible. I mean, Kante is probably on his way to win, to be one of the first players to win the league with a different team.
So, has anyone ever done that? No one's ever done that, have they?
No. Kante could possibly be the first player.
Well done, Pascal. I was thinking that today. I couldn't work out if somebody else had done it from. I thought Tevez might have done it from City to Man U, but he didn't, did he?
So what are you saying? Kante's going to play the Drake tune, back to back.
But this is what I'm saying. Let me say one thing though. Arsene Wenger had the chance to buy Kante.
I know.
And what was he doing? And he's French, and he's from his country.
Wait, let's add it to the list. Didier Drogba, Peter
Ronaldo.
It's the whole.
So Nick, So in conclusion to this Arsenal and Chelsea thing, who would you say should come in at the helm for Arsenal, and what do you think Arsenal need? Do you think they need to start again from the board to the coaching staff?
Well, the thing is, though, I don't know about politics in football clubs and the boards and stuff, but the fans want the board out. Everyone wants the board. I don't know how you get them out. I don't understand how that works, right? But Arsenal seem to, from the top, the board up. They just want to get top 4, But
which they're not going to get this year. I'm going out on record saying they're not going to get it this year.
the fans don't want that. If I'm a fan of Arsenal Football Club, right, the team who had the best team, one of the best teams in English history, man, that team was unbelievable. Vieira, Petit, all of them. That was next level.
Yeah, with an offence that was built by George Graham, though. Yeah, the fence that was inherited by George Graham. Let's not forget that.
Very true, very true.
Let's not forget, everyone forgets it.
But you can't go from that to being happy just to get fourth every year. No way on earth, bruv, would I be happy as a fan. So
this comes back to the same point, man. This comes back to the same point. Pascal and Frankie aren't happy to finish top 4, but they have to pretend they are because there's nothing else to go for. Sorry, Wenger, okay, I'm not even an Arsenal fan. Wenger out.
Yeah. I mean, the Arsenal debate rages on. It can rage on for days and for weeks and for years. Nothing changes.
It's getting a bit boring. As you guys said on your post-match interview, it's getting very broken record now. It really
all I would say is, if you had Mourinho, even Conte, even Klopp,
they'd win. They'd win.
They have won the league in the last 10 years of that Arsenal.
They would have nearly won the league,
No, we all know the answer. They would have won. So they would have won at least one. All of them managers.
Yeah.
I'm telling you now, 100%. Cool.
Well, guys,
I agree.
What about Spurs now? They seem to be, in a good run of form, and they seem to be realistic contenders in chasing Chelsea.
They're buzzing, man.
Nick, you say your piece, then I'll say my piece.
Right, what do you think about Spurs? That club is going in the right direction. Let's be honest, man. They've got in one of the best. That manager, Moko, is unbelievable, right? Look how he fires up his players. You know what I mean? So Spurs, they're on the way up. They're signing all these players, giving them contract extensions. Like, they want to keep them there. This new stadium. It's like Arsenal when they got a new stadium. Everything is going towards the right direction. So Spurs at the minute are looking good, man.
Yeah. And the thing is as well, like Nicky S, Spurs seem to have a ruthless mentality within the club. You've got Daniel Levy.
Man.
He don't mess about.
He ain't messing around. If they want a player, bruv, they're going to get him. And if they want to sell a player, they're getting the best money that they can get for that player. You know what I mean? They're not getting this get a player for cheap and then just sell it. Nah, man. They're buying players and they're selling them for more than what they get them. You know what I mean? But
this is what I think.
All I would say is Spurs, though, they for the last 5 years, I would say, because I had a season ticket at Spurs for 3 seasons when Gareth Bale was. I'm not a Spurs fan, but I was there. But they need a top quality striker, because when Kane was out, bruv, they were no good. They were dead.
Let me follow on from there. Yeah, let me follow on. Spurs, even though I'm a Chelsea fan, Spurs, from when Harry was there, were my second team. That doesn't make sense for the old school Chelsea contingent, but I loved Spurs when Harry Redknapp was there, right? Spurs, right here and right now today, even though ironically they're the only team to put us to the sword recently, we seem to have a bit of a yin-yang relationship with them. We either batter them or they batter us in the first round.
Yeah, you know what though? Sorry to butt in. Look how Spurs come into that game, man. Look at...
Oh yeah, but let's put it in context though. Let's put it in context.
Chelsea, you lot were unbeaten. You lot were buzzing.
No. That's the no. But I went to the game. I went to the game the weekend before where we not narrowly beat Stoke, but put it this way, I already noticed that long run was draining Kante and Hazard, and Kante was guilty for allowing Peter Crouch.
I hear some excuses.
No. There's no excuses when you're 9 points clear at the top. There's no excuses, but the point is that I was going to say, they beat us, fair play, but they are a poor man's Chelsea in relation to the squad. They've... all across the pitch, they've got
Wanyama.
Wanyama. He's good. But
they showed Kante and Matic what time it is.
But Nick, anyone can have a good day. Anyone can have a good day at the office. That's fine. But Spurs. What happened the weekend? What happened when we drew against Liverpool? What happened that night? What did Spurs do?
Yeah, but they're away to Sunderland, man.
No, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Now you're making excuses. It doesn't matter. No. Listen, when they got the opportunity, they could have cut the gap and they didn't.
Yeah,
so therefore, to answer your question, Frankie, they are not contenders.
No,
they're pretenders. They're pretenders. They're pretenders, not contenders. I will actually go as far to say, and it's crazy for me to say this, come the end of the season, I wouldn't be surprised if Man United are above Spurs.
That's what I was saying. I've been saying that to a lot of other panelists.
Man United are a slow train.
thing is,
let's get it right.
They're playing so bad though. They're playing.
Oh yeah, Man United is embarrassing.
But this is Mourinho though. This is Mourinho. Mourinho plays. He plays very, very ugly football. You know what I mean? He plays for the points. Make sure
I mean, you say that, but when you won the league with us 2 years ago, the first 6 months were magical to watch. Let's not forget.
Yeah, they were. But the rest of the season,
it doesn't matter. We had some memories, man.
Was like watching
and I do quote a 6-0 mauling of your team on the 1000th game of Wenger. Yeah.
Wenger should feel the shame.
Don't tell me 6-0 is boring. Yeah. Don't tell me 6-0 is boring.
Well, six corners.
That just proves Pascal. That just proves that I'm not biased and I'm not a fickle Chelsea fan who forgets what Mourinho done for my team. I'm not fickle.
I respect your opinion very much so, but look, you know.
But Pascal, are you going to say 49 unbeaten? You'll never sing that. You'll never sing that.
First team in London.
There's a lot of songs that we can sing, but look, as far as people.
I thought the music section was over of the show.
But Spurs are just improving as a team. Yeah. But I still believe that Arsenal has still very much got the longevity, and I'm very sure that we'll still make the top 4. I don't believe that we'll be out.
Yeah, I do.
You know what? I think it's going to be the toughest season. I think this year's going to be the toughest because none of Arsenal, Tottenham, Liverpool, or Spurs, Arsenal, Tottenham, Liverpool, or Man United seem to have their strategy perfect. None of them can put a string of multiple games together. Not as long as Chelsea's run, but it just seems that every week they're dropping points, all the different teams.
Apart from Chelsea, Spurs look the strongest, man.
No, when they've got their best team on the pitch, they look the strongest, but the problem is they've got no squad. And you know what? I will agree with Nick. We don't always agree on a lot of things on sport, but I will agree that Conte aside, because he's the best, no manager's ever won the manager of the month 3 times in a row. Yeah, not even Mourinho did that, or Ferguson. But out of the other bunch of managers, I would say the best managers are Mopo and Koeman. Klopp has got a lot of fireworks, and I think he's starting to get found out. Guardiola and Mourinho, let's be honest, they're Rolls-Royce managers.
Speaking of Klopp, now Pascal, speaking of Klopp, Liverpool, similar to Arsenal, they had a defeat, but to lowly Hull.
Of course, Frankie B. And Frankie B, is something that I would like to bring to the discussion is if Arsenal, as far as everyone is concerned, supporters and non-supporters of the club are frustrated by the lack of fight, by the lack of fire that Arsenal is showing. Jurgen Klopp started the season very, very well, and now Liverpool fans are becoming a bit disgruntled because he cannot put a series of winning games together. So are we saying that Jurgen Klopp is a very bad manager? Of course not, but they are concerned.
Well, they're calling him Brendan Klopp now.
There's some very interesting comments being made against Jurgen Klopp, but also Jurgen Klopp is also said to be, overtraining his players. So perhaps his training methods are not conducive to the players, or perhaps the players cannot sustain the level of intensity that Jurgen Klopp wants from them. And remember, in England, we don't have the winter break that they have in the continent. So certain times, the method of, continental managers doesn't always work very well in England. Pep Guardiola is a very good example of that.
Pascal, and also what was that tactic called? Was it the Gangen tracking? What was it called, the German word for tracking back?
I cannot remember.
Yeah, where they track in packs, but you're right. A lot of people predicted that it would burn his squad out mid-season, and it has done.
But of course,
similar to Man City, though, isn't it? They're all this pressing.
But Nike, next year when Chelsea in the Champions League and Chelsea has to play both the Champions League and the
Premiership,
we'll have to see whether you can sustain the same level.
I'll tell you why it will be fine. I'll tell you why it will be fine. We've done it before multiple times where we've always been in the semi-finals. We have more semi-finals than any other team apart from Barcelona for a decade, right? And we were challenging for titles if not winning them. I'll tell you why Chelsea will be fine. Because imagine Conte has done this well with players that he didn't even sign and players that he didn't even know he had. Nobody foresaw Victor Moses or Marcus Alonso playing that good, right? Nobody foresaw David Luiz turning into a genius player on a last minute transfer. Now what I'm saying is Chelsea always sign 2 or 3 marquee players. So when Conte gets the opportunity to buy the players he wants, whether it's a top-class defender or defensive midfielder. We've already got the best 2 defensive midfielders in the Premier League, and they're still...
No, you ain't, man.
No, we have. Don't say Wanyama, Nick. Don't say Wanyama. Nick, don't say Nick.
Listen, Dembele...
Fantasy points don't lie. Fantasy points don't lie because it's not biased, it's statistics and it's contribution.
Forget fantasy points.
No, it doesn't lie. It doesn't lie. He's not. He has. Nick, he's not. He has half a good season, half a bad season. He doesn't, man. He doesn't do it.
A bit pressed for time, but Nicky S, Liverpool, back to Liverpool. They've been taking quite a few L's recently.
Oh, man.
What do you think is the problem? Do you think Jurgen Klopp should have bought some defenders?
Yes, that's it. Simple answer is yes. That defence is not good enough, bro. That's it.
Poor James Milner, that's all I say. Poor James Milner.
Yeah, but James Milner ain't even a left back. How can you play a midfielder?
I know, that's what I'm saying. Poor James Milner, it's not fair.
Their keeper's not right. Man, Klein's good, but nah, man, their defence is not strong enough to be challenging. I don't think they're making top 4 at Liverpool. They're going to miss out.
They're pretenders as well.
I agree.
Now, speaking of teams with dodgy defences, we've got to mention Man City, who seem to be sparked into life by Gabriel Jesus. Jesus. Now, Pascal.
Wait.
Aguero is starting to look like a sideman. Did you see that moment in the game when Jesus scored and Aguero had a straight face?
Jesus turned water into wine. You know, he did very well. He did very well for Manchester City. You know, but it's concerning because Arsenal have to play Manchester City in the return leg, and I really do not see Arsenal winning the return leg with Manchester City. They seem to be a bit more reorganized.
Yes.
And Pep Guardiola also realizes that he needs to be in the Champions League next season to attract the players that he wants. Yeah. There's already talks of him getting Costa from Bayern Munich, and if Costa goes to Manchester City next season, he'll be getting exactly team for them. But look, Pep Guardiola also is finding the league very difficult. He's showing signs of frustration, which is very entertaining, and he's showing to be a mere mortal. Everybody held him as the best manager ever, and he has resources. He has a very good club, very good team, very good academy, and yet he's struggling. So it's very good to see that Pep Guardiola has given a dose of reality.
Yeah, reality. You're right.
Yes. He's come to the big boy league. He's come to the big boy league.
Of course.
The Premiership. You, Pascal, I mean, with the events of last weekend, how's it all shaping up for you now for the final quarter of the season?
Well, Frankie, the game against Hull is a very important game for us, and it's going to be a very difficult game because Hull, I've got a good manager. The Portuguese manager is, he's done very well. They managed to draw against Manchester United. They managed to beat Liverpool. So Hull are no longer scared, and they say probably they bring on Arsene Wenger.
Listen, sorry to butt in, you lot are gonna smash them. I'm telling you now.
I
be
agree.
Black track bullies,
Arsenal.
Hull will be tired. Hull will be tired from the exertions of those last 2 games.
Arsenal deal with it. Arsenal deal with them teams. No problem.
They always do. You guys always whoop
bullies,
the boys, and then you.
I mean, but it's no good for us. We want to be whooping everybody every week.
Yes.
Of
course.
Is what
Pascal, this is what I'm saying. When you lot actually come back to the big boy table, and you have a strong manager with a new ideology, and you have a new marquee player like a new Drogba or a new Henry, or a new Cristiano Ronaldo who leads your team, then we thought it was Alexis Sanchez, but he's not. He's a good player, but he's not someone who's synonymous with the culture of the club. He's not. He's just a brilliant footballer in his own right, but you haven't got that talisman. You haven't got him. And when you get that person, whoever it is, from the academy or a bought-in player, then Arsenal can come back to the discussion.
Yeah, Sanogo maybe, or...
Oh my God.
Yeah, Sanogo.
Guys, it's been interesting, but that's our time.
Yes.
I'd like to thank Nikki. I'd like to thank Nike. I'd like to thank Pascal. I'd like to thank CeCe.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Pep Talk UK.